Hello everyone, welcome to today's show. My name is Spencer Walsh. Thank you so much for joining us here. It's a Friday morning on a snowy northeastern day. So thank you so much for listening to us today. Alright, today Nancy Pelosi is fending off challenges in what is the fight of her political life right now. We'll take a look on how that is going for her, because I'm pretty interested to know. The midterms basically pretty much destroyed what is left of the California Republican Party. Pretty cool stuff, and really weird why they exist in the first place anyway. Thoughts and prayers for the NRA, which can't even afford its staffers coffees right now anymore because they're in that much financial trouble. Also, Pod Save America has a major screw up. So does reporter Eddie Scares. So, the last two stories of the show today are going to be about people who just screwed up. And boy, did they screw up. We'll tell you all about that and why they did. All right, so we now moving on today to Nancy Pelosi. I don't even know what accent that was. Nancy Pelosi's bid to retain her leadership of the House Democrats is under perhaps its most serious threat yet right now. Pelosi led the Democrats since 2003 and is in line by now to be the next Speaker of the House. They've now reclaimed the House majority. The Democrats have. And she has been under some pretty sustained pressure from critics on all sides of her caucus, including many newly elected members, to step down and make way for newer blood. That's pretty much what she's like literally been leading the House for as long as I've been alive, which is pretty incredible. Since 2003, she's been up leading the Democrats in the House. Pelosi has pledged to fend off any challengers, but Huffington Post Matt Fuller reported on Wednesday she faces a very serious problem. Saying, quote, about a dozen incumbent Democrats and half dozen incoming Democrats are preparing a letter pledging not to support Pelosi on the House floor for Speaker. The members also intend to note another contingent of Democrats who privately say they won't support a longtime California Democrat but won't sign the letter, according to Representative Tim Ryan, one of the ringleaders right now in the effort to block Nancy Pelosi. Sources familiar with the letter say there are about 17 names on it right now, but the group is trying to get more than 20 members before releasing it. So, yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to pretty much stop the vote, split the majority. Pelosi's foes on the right end of the party, like Ryan and Seth Moulton, have been mounting the most concerted effort yet to get her out. I don't know what the Democrats on the left are doing. Come on, guys. Can we get a little Barberly in here? Barberly, definitely the most popular option to be Speaker. I think like 30%, 38% or something like that of the Democratic population say they want to see Nancy Pelosi continue as Speaker, which is very, very telling about what they should do, like what their proper course of action is here. And I think we all know what it is. Make sure this doesn't happen. All right, so, yeah. Seth Moulton says, Congress needs a new leader, period. I'm hoping Marcia Fudge, my first and arguably best mentor in Congress, will run for Speaker of the House. I have full faith in her ability to lead a new Congress to the fullest potential. Fudge is a former chair of the CBC, told the Cleveland Plain Dealer she is considering it a challenge. People are asking me to do it. I'm thinking about it. I need to give it some thought and see if I have an interest. I'm at the beginning of the process. It's a discussion at this point. Observers pointed out Fudge has a questionable record on LGBTQ issues. Ryan Grimm says she's well known to be skeptical and hostile to LGBTQ rights, and she's one of the only Dems not to co-sponsor the Equality Act. She and Dan Lipinski were the only holdouts. Jesus Christ. Yeah, those are all. And Dan Lipinski, he's another guy you want to watch. He was challenged in the primaries. Very, very sad and very annoying that her challenger, I believe her name was Marie Newman, came up just short. And she was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see her out there running. I do believe her name is Marie Newman. I hope she runs again. I hope she just keeps running and torturing him every single time. Marie Newman was the politician in Illinois' 3rd District. All right, so, yeah. Marie Newman, yeah, she says she's not ruling on a rematch for next 2020, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so Pelosi dismissed the threats. I'm a busy person, but I'll also be Speaker of the House. Yeah, she's just throwing up shot after shot to anyone who wants to come and challenge her. Personally, what I think what needs to happen right now is the left needs to get their act together and actually focused on mounting a serious challenge on this guy, because I don't know what in the world is going on. with the effort to put in Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee's supposed to be pretty popular. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She's pretty big with the left. Like, she's the left's consensus choice, and if she's going to run, she should probably put her hat in the ring, and that would catch some of the right-wing Democrats on surprise, because they're about to do it. But I do not want to see anyone just crossing over and voting for the more right-wing candidate on the left side. If they could just vote for Nancy Pelosi, obviously there's a spectrum here. Marcia Fudge being the worst, Nancy Pelosi being the second worst, and Barbara Lee being obviously the only clear, positive choice. All right, so the election of Representative Kristen Sinema to the Senate was one of the few successes the Democrats had in the chamber last Tuesday, but even before she's taking office, she is messing up pretty badly. She was chased down by the Daily Caller on Wednesday and asked if she would work with Senate Republicans to build President Trump's proposed border wall on the southern border. Sinema's response, Sinema said she's willing to work with Republicans on everything. She says, this is an incredible quote here. She says, I'll work with them on anything. But there's even a little bit more to the story here. Before the conversation with the DCNF, Sinema was heard talking to someone in the hallway of the U.S. Capitol saying, I just want to get away from the press. When the DCNF reporter told Sinema he was with the press, well, Sinema, she responded by saying, well, I'm trying to get away from you. It was a little weird. But I just don't know what is going on with this. I just don't know what's going on with this person. She seemed to be just very, very weird, very, very sketchy. Because you don't know what she delete. Is it her extremely left-wing past? Is it her anarcho past, or is it her current state of just complete chill? Yeah, I'm just out here chilling, there's nothing much going on with me. I don't know. I'm just hanging around. Yeah, I can work with anyone on anything. I'll bow down to you, Republicans. It's totally fine. That seems what she's doing here. So, one is that Sinema here is a bad case of DC brainwords, one of these two options. Soak him into bipartisanship and the abstract principle of getting things done. She's willing to help Trump build his awful, awful wall. Two, which might even be dumber, she's so dead set on escaping the question of the Daily Caller guy, she told him what he wanted to hear, which is a little crazy, because that's one of the guys who is going to tell you, by the way, I believe the DCNF guy is the Daily Caller guy. But I think the most important question is, is she for real on this? And I have a tendency, knowing Kristen Sinema, the campaign she ran on was, I think it was really, she was on the first, that was her focus. She was talking more about the first issue. She told here, this is the problem. She told the guy, if this is true, she told the guy from Daily Caller what she wanted to hear. That's the problem. So the depressing thing is, even if it was the former, supporting Trump's racist wall wouldn't exactly prove to be a complete departure from how Sinema, who was an anti-war lefty in a previous life, behaved as a congressman or woman. A Sinema, whose Senate role model is Joe Manchin, voted for Trump 62% of the time in the last Congress, despite the fact that Hillary Clinton won her congressional district by 17 points. Arizona as a whole went for Trump by less than 4 points in 2016. We're not exactly really talking about West Virginia. This is the purplest red state in the books right now. So Kristen Sinema it's gonna be very interesting. I was gonna look up her thing, but I realized we just talked about it. But still, it seems like this is something very much worth watching. It'll be very interesting to see her behavior as we get in there. Just want to talk about that story very quickly. Now we move to California, where the Republican Party in California, they've been on life support for quite some time. There are no elected Republicans in statewide offices. Democrats have held the government in both chambers of the state legislature for the last 8 years. In the 2018 midterms, the party gained supermajorities across the entire legislature. 2018 was also the second straight cycle where the U.S. Senate election featured 0 Republicans on the ballot. Now Democrats are consolidating their dominance in the U.S. House. After this election, the GOP's federal delegation is about to be completely wiped out in one of the few strongholds in the state that it had left, Orange County. Before the midterms, Orange County was represented by 4 Republicans and 3 Democrats. All 3 Democrats held their seats, and Republicans look set to be defeated right now in all 4 of theirs. So We got Democrat Holly Rauda. He's ousted Dana Rohrabacher. Michael Levin's win over Diane Harkey for the seat occupied by Daryl Issa has been grown to double digits since the counting of mail-in ballots began. It was very close. Katie Porter is a former law student of Elizabeth Warren, who shares the Massachusetts Senator's zeal for ending corruption, has taken nearly 4,000 vote lead over Representative Mimi Walters. So yeah, I like anyone who has a zeal over ending corruption. Like, that's something, some pretty good stuff. Yeah, it's really just, seriously, guys, it's very important to keep an eye out for Katie Porter in Congress. She could be very much up there with Rashida Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, like that group of 4 women. Well, hey, why not a white one? Yeah. While the race hadn't been called by the AP, Dave Wasserman, a Cook Political Report, projected last night that Porter would win. Porter could be a model for progressive candidates in swing districts moving forward. How did she win? How did she do what she did in such a tight situation? So the only Orange County race where the Republicans maintain lead is the California 39th by a measly 150 votes. By the way, I actually think that's changed. That's Republican Young Kim and Gil Cisneros. I think he literally won the lottery. That's just an awful race and all. Situation. So yeah, Republican Rob Woodall clinched his race against Karen Bordeaux. Gil Cisneros, yeah, they have overtaken his now actually as of 8:30 p.m. last night has actually overtaken. So yeah, there's no race in Orange County where the Republicans actually hold the lead, which is interesting. So yeah, even races in other parts of the state are really getting closer. David Voldao is someone who represents a district in Central California that has not been won by a Democrat in 40 years, has held a commanding 8-point lead over the Democrat TJ Cox on election night, but that's shrunk to less than 2,000 votes with thousands of ballots still out, giving Cox a real shot. The end result is that if Cox wins, the California could send 46 Democrats to the House next year, as opposed to 7 Republicans. And one way to look at this is that Donald Trump has made California even more favorable to the Democrats. But an equally important factor is the changing demographics of the birthplace of Richard Nixon, which is now a minority-majority county. No, what? Oh my God! Drop the presses. This is awful. A majority-minority country. We need to do something about this. Oh my God. And yeah, like the majority minority, like sends any like right wing nationalists, like white supremacists, who may be listening to this, and like they just pass out of anxiety and fear and worry, which is something we always love to see, don't we? All right, so yeah, so really tough news, guys. Breaking news now report for fans of guns and mass murder. I don't know if you heard. The Trace reported on Thursday that the National Rifle Association is in such dire financial straits that it can no longer offer free coffee or even water coolers at its headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia. So this is what we call a pretty bad situation. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, and I don't think, yeah. It's very, very chilling, let's just say, for those who are fans of gun rights and freedom and equality in this country. Yeah, the freedom's safest place is not very safe at the moment, let's just say. So, yeah, this is going to be a story, I don't know if you realize, but it's going to be a story with a fair share of dunks. It's a fair share of dunks. According to Trace, the cost cutting, which comes as part of an effort to overhaul the organization's budget to make up for lost revenue, is affecting multiple NRA programs. In September, Open Secrets revealed thanks to an audit of the NRA's finances, showed the organization's income was plummeting thanks to the falling membership revenue, which coincided with a huge spike in election spending in 2016 when they spent $51.5 million. So, falling membership revenue, which is pretty interesting. So it's not like companies or the big corporations are boycotting the NRA, which is just not happening. It's just people losing interest. Yeah, so pretty interesting stuff there. But the Trace reports that the biggest driver of financial troubles at the moment is the lawsuit against Governor Andrew Cuomo in the New York Department of Financial Services. A former NRA staffer told Trace that its funding is going